Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More. I'm back at the laundromat. It's been a long time since I was on vacation, and this is actually a video I took Wednesday right after I got back on vacation because this middle machine was not working, possibly because it was too full of coins. So we're checking that on Wednesday to see how full these machines were, and then today is Friday. You may be seeing this on Saturday or later on, but today we're going to actually count all these coins together. So here's a sneak peek of what we had in those machines on Wednesday after about, 11 days or so. And then today I'll go through and show you what's in them after we emptied these once. And then we'll count everything, see how much we have after 2 weeks, see if we've broken any records or how we're doing, and talk about everything else going on in the laundromat world as well. So here's the one that kind of wasn't working well, and it was full. So I may have had more issues with this machine though. I emptied that, got it cleared out. I think it worked for a little bit, and now we're still having issues. So hopefully we didn't mess it up by letting it get too full. I don't think that's really a thing, but again, I'm just learning all of this, so who knows. So that was that machine. Now let's see how everything else is going in this beautiful laundromat. Now it's Friday, and someone was saying they're having a problem with this machine again. So we empty the coin boxes that seem to be working, and then the lady who cleans, who also does laundry here, says she could not get that machine to work right. And I thought the breakers were in the middle of the machines, but actually those breakers are over here because the good laundromat repair guys did that. So I was trying to figure out what breakers they were, figured it out, wrote it down so I know in the future, but that really wasn't fixing it either. So we'll get back to that later. But here is what it looks like in the change machine. I always like to check this because it gives us an indication of how much is in the machine. So no guarantee, but we filled this up most of the way on Wednesday. So there definitely has been more money coming in here. And I did kind of count this money, but not all the way now that I'm making the video and realizing I never counted this cash. Pretty sure I brought it back with me. Yeah, I did. But there was a good amount in there for just a couple of days. I did count everything but the ones, and I think it was $280 some there without counting the ones, so over 300. And then I think we had 2,071, something like that. So we probably had around $2,500 in the change machine after 2 weeks. So not bad, not a record amount, but definitely not bad. This is what it looked like on Wednesday when I got back after not checking the cash or taking the cash out for 11 days. So pretty big stack there. I did have someone who's refilling the quarters because those would have run out had we not done that. I'm starting off with the vending machines today. And of course, we're having more issues with the vending machines. I have way more snacks in there, way more stuff. But the good news right now is it's working and there's no issues. Because earlier, before I went on my vacation, someone was putting pennies in there, people were putting foreign coins in there, just having all kinds of issues. And then this week, on Wednesday I got there, it wasn't working again, and someone had stuck like a paper clip or something in the coin slot. So people are just annoying. We're also doing something else different today, in that I'm counting coins at the laundromat, because I know I had a whole lot of coins, and I knew I did not have enough quarters to bring with me to refill the coin boxes, the change machine boxes. So I knew I would have to use some of these quarters to put in there, and that's why we're doing things a little differently. So that was just the vending machine money, and then we'll do the charts that show exactly how much this ends up being here at the end. But that was like let me do my math. Divided by 4. No, that is the wrong math I'm doing. Let me try again. Divided by 4, $38 or so in the vending machine, but then you've got to divide it by 2 because it's for 2 weeks. Checking the pop machine, of course, we've got quarters down on the bottom where they always are. Not a whole lot of pop missing. I did refill it before I went, and there's some money in here, but not an overwhelming amount. So we will count that too, and get out the trusty change counting machine. That's the pop machine money. I have my calculator on right now so we can give you real-time instant counting of this pop machine, if it works. It was, the coin machine was on some weird setting where it was stopping every 20 coins. That's really annoying. And they were actually like, I feel like there are pennies in the pop machine too. But it doesn't jam when you do that. There we go. Let's get this working. $87, which is about $22 after you count the nickels and dimes we had from the pop machine. Here's the soap machine, which we've almost run out before 1 week, so I was wondering if that would happen. No, we still have plenty, and it's very erratic how much people buy soap for the washers and dryers. Some weeks there's a ton, and some weeks there's just not that much. This was pretty average, not as much actually as we have had in 1 week, but it averages out. It's about average for what we get a week if you multiply it by 2 to get this number. If you follow what I'm saying, it might be tough. It was kind of confusing. All right, so this one, again, I've got my trusty calculator. Ended up being $174-ish, which is about $43.50. So, divide that by 2, about average for the soap. Now we're getting right into it. We are getting right into this. We are checking the change boxes, and these in the back, I did not empty. The only ones I emptied earlier were the front row. So this is 2 weeks worth of quarters. We've never done this before. Hopefully it's super duper exciting for you. I could not do a voiceover while I was there, which is I like to do. I like to talk about it while I'm there because there were people there all day long, which is a good sign. And something else that's crazy, and that's a good amount of money, but again, it's 2 weeks, so it's hard for me to say, oh, it's a record, or it's way more, or it's way less, because we've never done that before. But I have had probably at least 5 different people ask for jobs at the laundromat. So I did not know that so many people wanted to work at laundromats, but we don't really have jobs for people, unfortunately. We have one cleaning job right now, and that's about it. I know people come in, oh, I want to count quarters. Yeah, that's my job. So no way I would ever pay someone to count quarters. That's like, or to collect quarters either. That's the most fun thing in the world. So a lot of money in that machine as well. Good to see. Again, hard to judge how much is in there. I know there's a lot more than we've ever had before, but again, that's because it's 2 weeks, not 1 week. As far as machines go, we bought dryer belts for 2 of the dryers, which we're hoping would fix them. I got the wrong belt. I've since ordered the correct belt, so those will be in next week, so we'll see if we can fix those. This big washer right here needs to be remounted. I wanted to have the good laundromat guys do it. They've been taking forever to get back to me, and they finally got back to me on courtesy. I specifically asked them about this other machine and getting it remounted, and they didn't respond anything about that one. So I think I might try and have my guys try and fix it. I don't know if that's dumb or a bad idea, but that would be like a fourth the cost of having the laundromat repair guys do it, because they come from Denver. They charge a chip fee. They charge like over $100 per tech to repair, and they usually have a couple of them. So it's extremely expensive to have the machines fixed by those guys. So it really depends on your area. There used to be a much more affordable laundromat guy around this area. Unfortunately, he passed away after an accident on his motorcycles, from what I heard. So the closest guys we have are Denver. You know my debacle with the bad laundromat guys who are up there in age and claim they fix stuff, and I thought were super helpful and really glad I found them at first, until I figured out almost everything they fixed was not fixed, or I think they broke more stuff than they fixed, and then they tried to charge me an insane amount of money, and we still haven't kind of gotten that figured out yet. That's something we'll have a talk with, but I asked them for an itemized bill of the stuff they actually fixed and repaired, and they won't do it. They'll just send me hours and parts. Sometimes they won't even list what the part is. It just says part, like literally. So not sure how that's all going to work out, but I did pay them a little bit for the first work they did, but then they came back with just a crazy bill. And some of the stuff they charged me for too. You know, some of you might remember I bought a bunch of machines from a laundromat in Louisville that went bankrupt or they got evicted. A bunch of the machines in here are from there, got a really good deal. Well, they had asked if they could come over and come see them. And I'm saying, sure, you can come over and come see them. Well, they didn't tell me they're charging me a trip fee and hourly wages for 2 of them to go over there and just mess around for 5 hours pretty much. I'm like, why did you charge me for this? He's like, oh, we took a coin box out. I'm like, no, I'm not paying for this. So that's just stuff like that over and over and over again. And literally almost every machine they said they fixed was broken, didn't work right. I was able to fix some of the stuff myself that they couldn't fix, which was pretty cool, including pricing stuff. So that's also pretty cool. Now I thought I had removed all of this in the video, but someone's coming to talk to me about prices and different things. I was trying to help them with their machine. Some nice ladies were having issues with the machine in front. So we got them a refund because it wasn't working right to a different machine, and then hopefully we can get the big machine up front fixed because it is one of our best and brightest and makes us a whole lot of money. So we'll see how that goes. Now, I've got way more money in my bucket than I think I've ever had before getting to the big machines up front. But again, that's after 2 weeks. I know I said that like 40 times. I'm going to keep saying it. So that is all of these machines. Again, more money in all the machines than I've ever seen, which is great. Heavy buckets, which is great. And then I'm trying to see what we've got in these front machines up here. I try my best not to show customers. I just know I'm guessing they don't want to be on camera, but that's just my idea. So these are the front ones, the ones that were overflowing in the front. This is after 2 more days. This is 2 more days of quarters, and I'm separating these into a different bucket because I want to count how much money are in these front machines versus all the rest to see what percentage I'm getting from these. And yeah, that's the one that was acting really weird. It wasn't taking a quarter, so I took apart part of the mechanism that blocks quarters, which I've heard you don't need. So then it was taking quarters, but then it wasn't reading quarters. I was able to get it started, but then it was just continuously running on 22 minutes. It wasn't counting down. So it was crazy. So here are all the previous quarters from the front ones. So the left bucket is all the front loaders. The right is all of the, not the front loaders. Well, yeah, front loaders. So the left is 3 machines. The right is all the other machines. So it was crazy how big a percentage those front machines do. All right, let's get started. I'm counting money and change. I speed this up so it doesn't take too long. It will still take a while. Of course, my change machine decides to break right off the bat, but don't worry, I sped it up. So this money first is the front machines. The 3 machines that always are the fullest that were overflowing after 11 days today or this week, and we're seeing how much was in those. I've also had some issues with my change counter. As many of you know, it gets jammed, but then the last couple counts I've done, it gets to like 2,200 coins, and then it like errors back to 1,700, does some really weird stuff. So what I've been doing today is once it gets to 2,000, I stop it, reset it, so we don't have that issue. So that was 2,000 coins already, and now we'll count the rest of them. And I have my trusty calculator somewhere, so I can tell you how many actual dollars this was, not just quarters. So 2,794. I've got it spits out extra quarters, doesn't read right. 798, 799. So in 2 weeks, the front machines did $700 in quarters. So not bad. We'll try to remember that. Now we're doing the rest of the machines and seeing how much they have. So when I do this in my office, I try to split it up into different buckets, and I'm not using my hands. I didn't think about that when I was doing this in the laundromat. So I don't have a scoop. Someone said I should get like one of those ice scoops. That would probably be a really good idea, but I don't have one and I haven't done that yet. So maybe I'll do that at some point. My hands were already super dirty because I was in Kersey at the other laundromat and cleaning quarters up out of the bottom of the change machine and did not realize how dirty that was. So obviously I washed my hands, but they're still after handling quarters, keys, your hands get dirty. So kind of like, well, what's getting them a little bit more dirty gonna hurt. All right, so you could have seen we already reset it at 1999 quarters, and then we're filling it back up again. Our record for quarters is, if I get that out, $1,014 for the washers total. So over 4,000 quarters is my record for 1 week. But remember, this is 2 weeks. So we're up over 4,000 quarters. That's because I did 2001 there, but we already had $27.99 from the other machines. So 4,753-ish, in that range. So we had under 8,000 quarters for 2 weeks. I know that would have been my record for the washers. And then we had 700 from big machines up front, and like 1,188 from the machine, all the other machines. So the big machines up front do about 40% of the business. Pretty crazy. So here are the dryers. So we're seeing how they're doing. Again, people were there all the time, kind of looking at me, asking for jobs, thinking I'm strange as I film, and empty coins, but that's okay. Had someone else ask me about laundromats as a business, and asked me all kinds of questions about if I make money, what my expenses were, what my profits are, all kinds of different things. If I have laundromats in different states, and I'm just like, I don't. I'm just kind of new to this, so I answered as many questions as I could / wanted to. But yeah, it was. It's always interesting in the laundromat, that's for sure. So again, more money in here than I've ever seen before, but it's 2 weeks, and those are the ones that are getting new belts soon. Hopefully that fixes the issue. The drum will not spin, so I believe that's a belt issue. I always just check to see if sometimes people still put money in them. Sometimes it's me to test them, but sometimes it's actually other people, which is odd, but it happens. All right, almost done with the dryers here. And then we'll count the dryers and see how much money they have. And yeah, this was when they were asking me for a job and distracting me from my important task here. That was a really full box. That was the fullest box I've ever had in the dryers, so that's pretty cool to see too. And yeah, it is interesting. You definitely, this is not a passive business, right? If you want to own a laundromat and have a passive investment, it's not probably the investment for you unless you have someone who can just do all the work for you and repair machines and do different stuff. So if you're looking for a passive investment where you're not involved, don't know if laundromats are the right business, but if you like quarters, it is like the best business in the world. So I never knew why. I never thought I would like quarters that much, but after having coin op in one of my apartment buildings, I really do like quarters. All right, so now we're going to do the dryers and see how much we have in them. Again, I'm doing the hand method, but I did not speed it up this time. This is what it looks like in real time when I'm doing this method. Our record for dryers before is $329.75, which is $9.75. You multiply that by 4. 1,319 quarters for 1 week. That's our record. So for 2 weeks, that would be 2,638 quarters to set a record. But that'd be pretty crazy to be setting records, because it'd be 2 weeks in a row of records. So I'm not expecting that to happen, but I wouldn't mind getting close either. So the washers didn't quite set a record, but they're close. Doing good, and we'll see what the dryers are. There was quite a bit of money in the dryers, so I was pretty pleased with that. And it's pretty cool, too, to see my 5-gallon bucket almost getting full of quarters completely. And I should mention that bucket now has a crack and hole in the bottom of it, so I don't think it's going to last too much longer as a quarter hauler. The weight of the quarters is just a little much for it. I did do a video before, too, about how many quarters are in a full 5-gallon bucket. I know a lot of people do that, but they do it with math. and they determine how big a quarter is and how much space is in there. But that's not really accurate because you're not accounting for the space between the quarters and how they stack and how they land, because quarters don't go in there perfectly, and they're also round, and there's a lot of things to consider. So I can't remember how many quarters I got, but it was a lot. It was very heavy. So I wonder, let's see here, we had 27.99 plus 47.54 something plus, we're at 24.90. We're gonna do pretty good with these. 25.35, almost a record. So this is over 10,000 quarters in that bucket right there. That's pretty cool. And one extra one. Don't know if I counted that one. I think I did. And that was a lot of weight. I was kind of worried I might break that chair it was sitting on too. Yeah. 10,000 quarters probably weighs a lot. And of course, that machine I told you, I thought I fixed it. It's out of order, which hopefully I can figure out how to fix it. But it was just continuously running. If it won't accept coins, it's continuously running. It's got some issues, and that's like one of our best ones. So I really hope. I'm going to look up some things and see if I can get it fixed right away. But hopefully it's not out of commission for a long period. Here's the chart. While you're doing that, let me look up how much does 10,000 quarters weigh? $10,000. Well, $10,000 in quarters weighs 500 pounds. I know that's not. Why is it so hard to find an answer to stuff like this? It shouldn't be that difficult. Well, $1,000 weighs 50 pounds. So that was 120 some pounds of quarters, probably. Wow, that's a lot of quarters. All right, so that's what the chart's been looking like, and it's been trending up, which is really good. And then right before I left on vacation, we broke a new record, which was cool. And the last 2 weeks, we've averaged $1,313 total. So not quite a record, but look at that. That is more for the average than we've been seeing most weeks. So that was really cool to see. The washers did great. The dryers did great. Vending machine could do better. If it would stop jamming or people stop jamming it, that'd be nice. And it's cool to see the trend continuing to go up. I kind of feel like it's not going up as fast as it did in the beginning, which is true, obviously, but no one knew we were open. We were just starting. So hopefully we can continue to work on it. I talked to somebody else in the laundromat today, and she's like, oh, I came here to wash comforters. I didn't know you were here. I went to a different laundromat, and this one's so much nicer. I'm like, oh, well, thank you so much. So that's good to hear. So hopefully we keep having more and more people come who didn't know we were open, and now they know we're open, and our trends will keep going up. Some other things to consider, too, are we can do more things to increase revenue, which I don't know if we want to do yet. We could do wash and fold. That's a whole other beast. We could look at putting card readers and different stuff on the machines, too, which would be very expensive, but might bring in more people as well. So for now, I think we're going to chug along, but those are some options I'm going to think about if we need to increase revenue more. Our break-even is about $4,000 a month, so we are making money, but it'd be nice to make a whole lot more. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and we'll be back next week.